In this lesson, we will talk about a useful tool with which you can create solid objects by selecting a surface and the path it will follow. This tool is called Follow Me. Follow Me is not a complex tool, but let's get to a few examples to see how it is used. In the first example, I will create a parapet on the flat roof of the building. As I mentioned, for this tool, I need a surface and a path. So, before I activate it, I have to create the surface. I will activate the Rectangle tool to create a rectangular surface. I will specify the first point of the rectangle on the upper left corner of the solid. Then I will move the cursor so that the rectangle appears green, which means that it is perpendicular to the y-axis. Now, to define its dimensions, I will type 0.3, a semicolon, 0.3, and press Enter. After creating the surface, I am ready to activate the Follow Me tool. You can activate this tool if you expand the Tools menu and select the Follow Me option, or you can simply click on the Follow Me icon from the toolbar on the left. Once I activate the tool, the message Select Face to Extrude appears on the status bar. So, I will click on the rectangular surface to select it. Automatically, the message Drag Face to Extrude appears, prompting me to drag the cursor over edges along which the surface will be extruded. Notice that as I drag the cursor over the line, the rectangle is extruded, following the edge. When I reach the end of the line, I will click once and notice that the parapet has been created. In the next example, I will create a roof with a slope. First, I need to create the triangular surface as well as the path. I will start with the path. Therefore, I will activate the Line tool and draw a line that connects the two opposite upper corners of the solid. Then, I will draw another line starting from the midpoint of the object's front edge and ending at the midpoint of the diagonal line I created previously. Finally, I will draw one more line, starting from the midpoint of the object's side edge and ending at the midpoint of the diagonal line. Now, I will select and delete the diagonal lines that I do not need anymore. All that is left is to create the surface that will follow the path. So, I will activate the Line tool again and create a line that starts from the midpoint of the front edge. I will move the cursor upward to set the direction on the z-axis, type the number 1.5, and press Enter. Next, I will create two lines that will connect the endpoint of the line I just created to the upper corners of the solid's front surface. Then, I will delete the line that bisects the triangle. At this point, I am ready to create the roof, so I will activate the Follow Me tool, then select the profile and move along the path line. Once the preview shows the desired result, I will click on the endpoint of the path to finish the creation of the roof. At this point, I should mention that you can select the path lines first, then activate the Follow Me tool, and finally select the profile, and the result will also be the same. I will undo the last extrusion by pressing Ctrl and Z to show you this way of using Follow Me too. I will select the two lines first, then I will activate the Follow Me tool, and finally I will select the triangular surface. Notice that the roof is created, and the result is the same.